All right, well, hey everybody, this is Matt from thirdarmrobotics, and we're in part 3 of a sorting demonstration showing the sorter finally behaving in a way that I can sort of be satisfied with. It's still pretty slow. It still has a few little quirky things. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how it's behaving. There's a ton of room for improvement, but I want to get this thing rolled out. So here we go. So it's just doing a scooch there to grab that yellow 1x6. Let's see if it puts it in the right bin. Yeah, it did. Right at the end of the previous video, there was a demonstration of spreading. I don't know if you saw that, but it was right at the end. There's another one. Okay, so there's a demonstration of spreading. So it sort of looked at that group of objects, and it's like, man, there's just too much stuff there. So it reaches down, does a little scooch and a spin to sort of spread those objects out, which it did a relatively good job there. There goes a red 1x8, sort of on the edge of the grabbing area. Sometimes these scooches I don't seem appropriate. That one is an example of one where it really didn't need to do that. But that's just looking at the algorithm and trying to refine that a little bit more. And that's sort of what I mentioned in the previous video too, is that the algorithm that I'm currently using to sort of choose which object to grab next isn't the most efficient one that I can have. I mean, it works, but in order to speed things up, that algorithm is going to have to change, because even us looking at this current field of objects here, it's pretty easy to decide what object to grab next, and then it does things like that where yeah, we have a successful grab, and it spread the objects out a little bit. But was that the best grab at that time? Maybe not. That will be for future versions. This is version 1.0. So there it did a drop. It did a successful grab, but it wasn't able to properly identify that object. So instead of moving it to the incorrect bin or the I don't know bin, it currently just is going to drop it in sort of a random place, just like it did there. So some of these objects, sometimes it has some trouble with in terms of identification. It doesn't get a really good look at the object, so when it comes to identification, it's like, I don't know what this is. But this time, is it gonna do it? Yeah, it did it, and it put it in the right bin also. It's gonna move that gray thing. It might do a grab. Let's see. Yep, it did. So that object was sort of outside of its grab area. The center of the object was outside of its grab area, but it could still sort of reach it. So it did. It reached it, it moved it over, and then it grabbed it. So there's a gather. It decided that side of the work area had a few too many objects in it, so let's get that into the grab area. There it just did a regular old move, sort of spreading things out a little bit. There's a hallucination that I was talking about. It just, once in a while it sees those dark dark bars, horizontal bars, and decides it's an object that it wants to do something with. So there it grabbed two 2x2s, and it's like, no, I don't know what that object is. Down it goes. And as you can see, it sort of spread it out. There's a hallucination again. It's not hallucinating a lot, but it's kind of right on the edge of too many. I think in this entire 50-minute session, it hallucinated maybe about 10 times or so. So there it was going for a 1x1 and really wasn't able to grab it very well. Go for that gray 2x2. It's going to scooch those out of the way so it can grab that brown 2x2. Put in the right bin. So here it decided that it needed some more pieces out in the work area, so it did a dispense. That dispense was actually pretty good. That's a pretty good spread, but as I've got it set up right now, it'll always do a gather after dispense. Most of the time, or a lot of the times, the objects tend to pile up in that corner. So right now, at least, I've got it set up so it'll always do a gather and sort of move a few of those objects out of there. So there it's doing a spread. Pretty good spread. Going to do a scooch, which probably wasn't necessary. But it sort of saw that blue object there, and it's like, oh, okay, I better safe than sorry. Because ultimately we want successful grabs. We don't want any kind of interference. We want a nice clean grab so we can hold on to it, move it where it needs to go. So there's another pretty decent spread there. Now you've got all the objects separated out, which obviously makes it easier to find and to grab. Notice that my clock on my phone has gone out, so sorry about that. This is still all real time. This is not sped up or slowed down in any way. I want you all to see the real thing, how it's operating. Scooch that out of the way. Scooch that out of the way. Maybe not too necessary. That one definitely was not necessary. But it grabbed the object and put it in the correct bin, so I can't fault it too much for that. That was an obvious case of just not really seeing that 1x4 very well, so it got the geometry a little bit wrong. This time it got it a little bit better, so it was able to hold on to it. It does a pretty good job with holding on to things, even though the grab might not be ideal. So there again, it's like, should that really be a scooch? Yeah, it really didn't move anything. Go for that red 2x2. Put it in the 2x2 bin. Okay, I'll be back for part 4.